is Don, speaking today on behalf of the A Fork in Time and the Room Where It Happened team. We just wanted to get this statement out. We discussed last night after our recording session about what we would like to say and not say about the recent events in the United States, particularly the recent attempt to assassinate former President Donald Trump. One of the running jokes on our podcast has been about us killing presidents. Now, most often that's been by changing the result of some health condition with the president or something like that. It's become a running joke, but we've also said in context before that certainly we do not condone, either in the past, nor in the present, nor in the future, anything that is the equivalent of political violence, be that in the United States or anywhere around the world. And so we just wanted to make it clear that while we sometimes joke or use that as something that we do as a one-off in our discussion about alternate history, it's the result of looking at events that have actually happened, be those assassination attempts or successful assassinations of political figures around the world, and using that as our launching point because so often they do represent a dramatic opportunity for history to be different if you change the outcome of those events. But we just wanted to make it clear our position on that, given the light of current events and our sensitivity to it. The other thing that we wanted to express is that over the vast majority of the history of the podcast, which now is 5 years, we have made an effort, particularly in the early years of the podcast, to steer away from making the podcast political. In the recent year, we've actually talked about this a number of times during episodes. We've laxed our stand on that to allow some of the members of the team to more openly and more freely express their political views in the context of the topics that we are discussing. Having said that, there's a couple of things that I want to say that also relate to that. First of all, as a team, we are very different individuals, and we come from a variety of backgrounds. We come from different places, and we come from different perspectives on the political spectrum. That includes not only for U.S. politics, but also for global politics. In that, though, we have found the ability to enjoy each other as friends, to enjoy each other as colleagues that work together on the podcast that we all enjoy doing together. And to do so, we pray, and we hope to intend to continue to do that in a way that demonstrates that we do that with respect. I can disagree not only with the members of the podcast team, but with others who are willing to understand that our disagreements are actually a place for us to discuss and not for us to denigrate each other. And that's a very important concept to us and one that we will continue to try to hold to. If we don't, call us out. But I hope that you can see that from the way that we interact with each other and the fact that even when we disagree, we try to do so in an agreeable way. And also with the understanding that very often having our own beliefs, thoughts, and our opinions challenged is a way to validate those opinions or those positions for ourselves, but also being open to the fact that we could be wrong or to look at something from a different perspective. We actually view that as being a valuable exercise. And speaking for myself, but I also think I speak for the team after our discussion last night, that I'm talking about something that we value not only for us, but we value for the society in general. We are better off when we are able to listen. We are better off when we are able to try to understand those both that we agree with, but even more importantly, those that we might disagree with. We need to be open to the concept that we could be wrong, or we need to be willing to engage in a reasonable civil conversation with others, maybe to point out something that they haven't considered that will cause them to reconsider their position. And in doing so, we are better for having done that. One of the things I didn't realize before I began the podcast, but it became very clear to me after the podcast came into being, is that there are a number of people who are interested in alternate history, but are interested in alternate history because they have a viewpoint on something, and they view alternate history as a way to fix or correct something that they view went wrong in history. I guess that's probably true for all of us. If I'm being honest, certainly that's true for me. But I became very aware that oftentimes when I would engage with listeners, they were coming with a political point of view and they were not happy about what was being expressed on the podcast, not because of the thoughts and concepts about the fork or the alternative history that was being considered, but because it challenged their thoughts and their notions either about philosophy religion, or politics. And so I came to quickly realize, and that's part of the reason that we worked hard not to include or try to minimize the intrusion of politics into our discussion, because I came quickly to realize that could be a polarizing factor, just in general, but also for the show. We've relaxed that stance in the last year, again, as I said, and I'm glad that we have. But I just want to make it clear on behalf of myself, on behalf of Alexis, on behalf of the team, that this is our position. You, of course, have the right to stop listening to us. That's your right. You chose to listen to us. We hope that you continue to do so. But we wanted you to understand where we are coming from, and more importantly, why we come from that perspective. I hope that we continue to have you as a listener, as an engaged listener who participates in all the various means that we provide for feedback. And again, if you want to provide feedback to this very announcement, whatever statement that I'm making here, that is your right, and I would welcome that. What I would ask is that it be done with civility, that it be done in the context of facts, and that it be done with the goal and intent of having a meaningful dialogue. If it's not, then it really has no purpose. If it is, I am willing to listen. Again, thank you for your time today. Thank you for continuing to be a patron and a follower and a listener to the podcasts. We hope that you enjoy them. We hope that they provide a nice diversion in this world that we have today that is faced with so many challenges. Until next time, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to A Fork in Time, the alternate history podcast. Learn more and provide feedback by visiting our website at www.aforkintimepodcast.com. Connect to us on Facebook at facebook.com/aforkintime, or follow us on Twitter at AFIT Podcast. If you want to support the show financially, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/aforkintime. We hope you will join us next time.